A lot of these Zoom meetings this week, today on Thursday, will be based around college and career readiness. So guidance will be hosting certain workshops today. Additionally, Mr. Contagnola, Mr. Khan, and myself will be hosting workshops as well. So what I want to do first, before we get too started, I want to find out how many people in here are parents, how many people in here are students. Now, we have about 50 of you in here, so it's going to be a free-for-all if I allow you to unmute yourselves. So as of now, I'm going to keep you guys muted and communicate with you guys through the chat unless we get to a point where you guys want to show your resumes and go over some specific details or specific questions. Then obviously we will go through and allow you guys to unmute. All right, so it looks like majority students. Wonderful. Great, I'll assume there's limited to no parents on here. So my next question for you guys is going to be, what is the grade level of everybody in here? Wow, all walks of life. Okay, let's go one more. How many of you have, if you have a resume that you've already written, can you just write yes? If you don't, then write no. Okay, good to know. Okay, so how many of you have your resume that you guys are willing to share to discuss today? Great. So the best way to start going through this for us, the best way to see what you guys need help with and what you guys are prepared for or not prepared for, what you guys need to work on, would be to see some of what you already have done. Right? I can give you guys some tips and tricks and some pointers from my end, but the best way for you guys to learn would be if I was able to see exactly what you guys have, and then we can use that as the jumping off point. And I apologize, we're still getting a bunch of people joining the meeting. So I'm trying to make sure that we get everybody that's here prepared and ready to go. All right, I have a few things I can upload, so give me 1 second to pull a few things up for you. Those of you that do have a resume, if you can drop it into your Google Drive, right? Or if not, into your Google Drive, if you could just save it as a PDF, perhaps, and then I'll get you to share it with me briefly in a few moments. All right, let me get this one thing open. Okay, so I'll pull up the schedule for today first, so you guys can see everything that'll be worked on today. At some point today, that is. So I assume you guys all have the schedule. I'll show you again the schedule just in case. So from 9 to 10, it already started. College exploration, career exploration, financial aid 101. All right. If you're a senior and you haven't done your financial aid, if you're a junior and you haven't learned about financial aid, you will definitely want to make sure you attend. If you're not attending the financial aid course right now, you'll definitely make sure you want to attend the financial aid course between 10 and 11. Okay, financial aid is a document you're going to fill out based on your parent or guardian's income. That will be used to help calculate more or less what the government will help pay towards your college education. You are required to do financial aid documents. If you don't do financial aid, you guys won't be able to, I guess, more or less apply. Naviance is what you'll use at the end of your junior year, which would be now for some of you. Next year for some sophomores, and for seniors, you should already know your Naviance. That'll be used for college applications, as well as to get your letters of recommendation. So you have Intro to Naviance again at 10, you have it again at 11, college exploration at 11, college exploration at 10, financial aid at 10, and no financial aid at 11. So if you haven't learned anything about what financial aid is or what's required, I would suggest go that 10 to 11, okay? So then we'll get to what Mr. Khan, Mr. Campagnolo, and I will be looking at the rest of the day as well. Okay. So this block is all resume writing, right? To review your resumes and look at what you guys have, what you guys might have questions on. That's this block right here. We'll talk interviews. Mr. Campagnolo will do 10 o'clock. I'll do 10:45. Mr. Khan will do 11:30. So if you're going to the 10 to 11 financial aid course with guidance, then you can come right here with Mr. Khan and do 11:30 to 12:15 interview techniques with him. The end of the day, we will end around lunch, which I'm not providing. We will end discussing what's going on economically, whether you have questions on personal finances, retirement, if you have family that have questions, if you have questions on how or what or when you can invest, we'll be able to do that. I'll be 11:30, and then Mr. Campagnolo 12:15, and Mr. Khan 12:45. Okay. Any questions about the schedule ahead, just for the rest of the day? And take that as a no. Good. So the first thing I want to show you guys before you do anything is how important it is for you guys to write your resume. Not only that, but you have to write it with certain elements included. Okay, so they do have some new features in Zoom I might try to play with. Let's see if these work. See if I can add a question. I'm going to share this poll with you in about 20 seconds, so stick with me. So my question is going to be, what is the most important part of your resume? Now, you don't have to all type it in because I'm actually going to share this with you right now. If I can get this out of the way. Great. Now let's see how you share this. Now again, Zoom just launched a few new tools because they've been in trouble recently. So let's see if these tools work. So I've got this. Let's go back into Zoom. And let's see if we can get this poll. Launch poll. Nope, that didn't work. Of course not. Make it anonymous. Save. Add. Nope. All right. Well, hopefully I'll figure that out by the end of the day, so we can actually use that maybe by the end of the day. Let's see some of the things that you guys have. So Iman asked a question. Do we have to attend the sections today? That I'm not sure. I don't think you're required to attend. Attendance is not being taken. Okay. Some of the sessions might have maxed out the number of people it allows in. I know we are currently at 60. I'm not sure if 60 is our max. I'm not sure if Zoom caps us at 60. So your best bet would be try to be early. All right, it's better to be early than on time, just in case there's a waiting room so you can get approved. Okay. But for your resume, probably one of the most, and we have a few more people to admit, and we're up to 62. 100's the max according to other rooms. Okay, thanks, Dean. Okay, so we'll see if we can hit our 100 number. That'll be great. Can't wait. So the most important part, I'm going to show you, which you guys can see. I have my screen being shared. All right. You'll have your name, your title, your contact information right here. Okay. This is called your professional summary. All right. If you haven't written one and you're a senior, you will have to learn how to write one immediately because your resumes that you write, the resumes you apply to internships with, the resumes that you apply for part-time jobs with, the resume that you attach to an email when you write your appeal letter for a better scholarship, those will be required to have a professional summary. Okay. Then you have your work experience. Then you'll have your skills, other skills. All right. And I'm trying to scroll down. Oh, it's actually cut off. Never mind. That's the extent of this resume. It's an image. It's not their full PDF. So the most important thing is going to be your professional summary. When you guys apply for a position, there will be hundreds or thousands of resumes that have to get sifted through. Does that make sense? So in order for your resume to be the one that gets kept in the look at later pile, or the one that gets kept and put into the callback for an interview pile, To be on that pile, your resume is going to have to stand out. Does that make sense? Good. In order to stand out, normally and conventionally, people will have what's called an objective on their resume. All right. Again, we'll just pull a few of these from the internet. We'll get you guys used to image searching, seeing what does and doesn't work. And let's pull this one. Open as an image. Great. So career objective, elementary teacher looking for a position at a small independent school where I can apply my teaching experience, STEM instruction, technology, curriculum development, and support student growth and success. That's their career objective. What is the problem? What do you guys think might be the problem with that objective? So imagine there's an imagine there's a school teacher interview coming up at Francis Lewis. Okay, so Madeline, Kelvin. So Madeline says, sounds like the objective of every other teacher. Kevin says doesn't stand out. Jeffrey doesn't tell enough about the actual teacher. Millie, it's too vague. Owen, very vague. Millie says it's boring. Dennis says very vague regarding their skills. All right. Ting says it's not very interesting to others. So exactly. So that's the problem. So the problem is, like Justin just wrote in the box, it's generic. So every other educator that's looking for an elementary school position will more than likely have the same career objective. So then my question becomes, would this career objective be enough to make this person stand out? Would this objective, let's say you're the hiring person, let's say you're Dr. Marmer, would you keep this person's resume and call them in for an interview? Okay, Jeffrey says no right away. Nora, no. Iman, okay, it's a bunch of no's. So nobody likes, who is this person? Alex. Nobody likes Alex. Okay, that's fine. I don't like Alex either. So the first thing the people who look at your resume are going to see, they're going to see your name, your address, your phone number, and your email. That is the very first thing they'll see. People read top down and left to right. All right? So that's the first thing they'll be seeing. The second thing that they see after your contact information needs to be what is called your, where is it? Professional summary. The objective that you used to have on many resumes, with the exception of a few industries, for the most part, the professional summary has replaced many objectives on resumes. Since you're applying for the position digitally now and no longer mailing in or dropping off resumes, most hiring managers and most companies know what you're applying for when you submit the resume, right? So you don't have to restate the obvious. What you do have to state first in order to stand out would be what you've accomplished and what you can do for them. So this is Robert Johnson, digital marketing specialist resume. A marketing professional with proven experience in planning, coordinating marketing policies and programs, such as determining the demand for products and services offered. This is like a long run-on sentence, so I wouldn't say this is perfect. To identify new potential customers. So that's key. This write-up is key, that you would basically want to hire Robert if you think he can get you new customers. That's pretty much what he's trying to say. He's got strong expertise in developing pricing strategies with the goal of maximizing profits. Does this sound better than an objective? Right, so basically it's a brag sheet. So your professional summary, and what I would suggest is you guys to work on, not necessarily today, but understand and start working on, is your professional summary. And exactly, if you look at the entire resume that you have, what stands out the most and what are you trying to communicate? That's where your professional summary is, all right? What should they get from this resume? That way they don't have to read your full resume. Because if you're reading 500 resumes, you're probably not going to be able to spend a lot of time on each, so you're going to skim them. If you're skimming a resume, you have to make sure that your personal resume stands out. That's the professional summary. So, how many of you guys have written or actually been told that you needed a professional summary on your resumes? Probably going to get a bunch of no's. All right, Madeline got a yes. Gregory, a yes. Some of you need them. Great. Okay, if you have a resume, all right, then if you can, if you've got it on Google Drive, share the link, and if you can, drop the link into the chat window, and I'll open the link for everyone to see. If you're comfortable sharing the link, can you please drop? Perfect. All right, Taylor's already ahead of the game. Okay, so Taylor, can you give me permission to edit? There we go. I'm going to request edit access. Now, don't make it so everyone can edit because we have 60 people in here that are going to be looking at this thing. So I just sent you a personal request for my email address to be able to edit. I'll be honest, Millie, I'd rather not give everyone in here my email address. I'd rather not be spammed a million times. No offense to you, but who knows what you guys do with my email address after you get it. And Greg, same thing. Greg, I'm going to ask for access as well. Didn't see the request. Okay, hold on. Well, Taylor, let's do yours first. So looking at Taylor's, if you look at her resume, if you look at Taylor's resume, you actually look at the entire top 20% of the resume before you even get to the person's education, right? So this is a little too much to have it in one long row. Does that make sense? So first things first, see how you're giving your specific address? I would take that off. The reason why, and again, I'm not saying all, but you providing the exact location where you live, they have your email address and phone number. They are not going to come to your door to offer you a job, right? They're not going to come to your door in order to tell you didn't get a job. Now, you can format it like this, right? And everybody has their own different thoughts. But what I would actually suggest to do is, it looks like you have an extra space under Taylor. So I would trim the space here. It might be in your tools and settings, again, because I can't access it. It might be in your line spacing, but let's move on. So you have your phone number. Your phone number and contact email, I would put on the same line. There you go. Perfect. Now, what you've done is you've saved 2 lines. So all of your content moved up by 2 lines. That's important. Because if we look down on your resume is 2 pages. You guys are 15, 16, 17 years old. There's no way in a heck your resume should be 2 pages. My resume is 2 pages, and I'm an old man. And I've done a lot in my life. Okay? So let's scroll down and see what we can trim. So for instance, it was high school, class of 2021. So the first thing, Taylor, we need for you to create is a professional summary, right? Because we know that you're 15 or 16. So 2021, that means you're a sophomore, right? That means you're probably 15. So that also means that if you were to bring this resume somewhere, they're not going to hire you unless they know there is something special about you, right? You're a junior. Okay, never mind. So Taylor's a junior. Well, that's even more important then. Because if you're going to look for a job now as a junior and they're looking for juniors and seniors to hire, then in that case, you're going to need that. So what I want you to do is basically copy the education. And actually, I requested access again. Greg, I think you found it because you confirmed it. So Greg, where was your access that you found you were able to provide me with access? In your email. So check your spam, maybe Taylor, because I think me being able to edit it myself would probably help a little bit more than going back and forth. Okay. And I do have Greg's, and I have access to Greg. So Taylor, if you sit tight, you can use what we use for Greg's for yours as well. Okay, so Taylor's got hers too. All right. So looking at Greg, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to drop these emails on the same line. And if you want to be, all right, you have this line break, which is fine. Your name is 24-point font. Not sure you need it to be 24. 18 should probably be enough. Again, that'll save you some time. Also, these 2 spaces, right? So if I zoom in, I'm not sure when they started teaching or they continue to teach to use 2 spaces. You should only have 1. Okay, so I'd make everything only 1 space. Don't double space after a period. That's a no-no. Okay. You don't have to list these vertically. And you can see we are already saving quite a bit of space. Perfect. Now you have AP World History, AP United States History, AP English Language. So notice that you have 3 lines here, right? You guys see that? We need this to be only 2 lines. You need this only to be 2 lines. You do need to delete a word here. Okay, so I would do AP, I remove and composition. This now gets you only 2 lines. You could also do AP US history. Okay. So either way, notice the goal there that we had, we were trying to make sure that we were able to sufficiently save some space. Good so far. So again, it's all about cutting. It's all about trimming. That way we actually have plenty of space. Okay, so let's look next. What do we need to do next? So we have your professional summary here. We haven't read it yet, though. Let's skim down. So honors and awards. You have an extra line here that Greg has. So awarded for doing the best overall out of fellow classmates. Can you guys write yes if this phrase impresses you? No, right? So, Greg, my question to you then, Greg. Understandably, you got the debate medal. You did great with the debate team. Awarded for best overall. I'm not sure that this increases your potential to get a job. No, wait, hold on. Edward Bleeker's in middle school? Okay, then that is garbage. Good. So we had to remove that. Nothing from middle school. Nothing from your freshman year of high school either. Unless you are a freshman or sophomore, by the time you're a junior, senior, your middle school and 9th grade work is way too far behind. And like Owen just typed, it's too far in the past. Okay. So honors, again, debate. So this looks like it was also the same time frame. So looking here, let's do this then. Both of these were middle school. Awards, honors. If you have nothing else there for awards and honors, then maybe you can do this if you need to save space and then not delete them yet. So, Greg, what grade are you in? Greg, you're in 11th? All right. So, Greg, we're going to remove these. You have to find new awards that you can earn or get. Okay, so we will leave them blank. But yes, if you're a junior, we cannot put middle school stuff. So activities. Now, the first thing to notice is that 2017, 2018, 2019, 2019, you're going to need to reformat that. So you're going to need 2019 to be higher. Okay? Because you want your most recent stuff on top. And 2019. So you'll need to do, yes, so chronological, most recent to the latest. You also don't need to say when you started high school. You can put graduation, June 2021. You don't have to say 2017 to 2021. That's not really important. Okay. Questions yet? So it does have to be chronological. All right. It does have to be chronological. You have to make sure that those are in order. Also, these are way too many bullets. To have 3 bullets per or 2 bullets per is too much. You should really try to trim these to 1 to 2. So cadet sergeant would be your title, wouldn't it? So you would be here, cadet sergeant, JRTC. And maybe not bold, and it's still not going to fit. All right. If you need the space, you can just take that off. FLHS academic team, JRTC. Okay, so again, make these chronological. Yoga club, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Nobody cares. You have to think of what is somebody that hires you is going to care about that you do, right? If you have space, then you can leave the yoga club. If A, you founded it, or B, you just want to keep one line because maybe the person who is hiring you likes yoga. So maybe they like that about you, right? So if that is the case, then you could leave it if you have space. But again, you have 2 extra words here, building a small community, which allows you to relieve stress. Done, and we save the line. Work experience. You don't have a date, so you would need a date here. Now, this is most important, and we're done in a few minutes. Time flies, so I apologize, but hopefully you guys get something good out of this. Work experience. So you were what is a helper? Is that like a tutor? I guess. I mean, Greg, you tell me, it's your resume. What do you mean you're a temporary helper? We do something called service learning. Okay, so let's say that do you work with children? Yes. Okay, so let's say you're a tutor. So if Greg's a tutor, you guys, and this is the best piece of advice I can give you guys, you guys as high school students do not know the proper way to phrase using industry language, right? In order to learn how to use industry language, my suggestion would be to you can go to LinkedIn, make an account, or you can do a Google search, or you can go to Career Builder or any of these other locations. And let's say you search for a tutor job application. So volunteer math English tutor. What you need to do is actually look at some of the requirements that some of these companies have. If you can look at some of the job requirements or some of what they expect from you in this position, you might learn. So right here, let's say, willing to motivate, participate in staff events. Let's see, subject specialism. So you can talk about what you're specialized in. Now, again, we don't know if, these would be your specialist, so subject specialist in math, physics, accounting, and finance. And then you look at what else they have, research methods, and maybe this doesn't work. So let's look for a math and reading tutor. So what you're looking for is ways to phrase what you're trying to say, because as a high school student, you probably don't know even what you want to say. Does that make sense to you guys? So you're going to have to look at other jobs and other adult resumes and try to see, okay, so right here. So here's a piece. And again, this is probably something that you've done, Greg, but experienced in delivering so this says curriculum innovation, delivering an innovative curriculum with strategies to engage students, to engage young students. So by looking at what is happening out in the real world, by looking at other real job situations and other real resumes and real requirements, you'll probably be able to rephrase a lot of these much stronger, if that makes sense. Does that help at all for some of you guys? So professional summary is important. Shorten the spacing here and the size of those fonts. Professional summary here, again, this is just a springboard, so you have to do some research. Shorten your education because it's important, but you don't need to have it be like 6 lines long, right? You can list them horizontally instead of vertically. And then work experience. Work experience is the most important, okay? Work experience is where you guys want to do that research to see what are other professionals saying and doing and how are they phrasing it, and that will help you phrase it more professionally, right? It's like me telling you guys to write a book and you've never written a book. You're gonna have to read some books before you guys learn how to write a book. You have to learn language, right? Certain terms and definitions, okay? Are there any burning questions before you guys go? I know that we kind of got cut short, 40 minutes, 45 minutes or so. Okay, the last thing I will do before I let you guys get out of here, and I will have the recording, and I'll give the recording to the school. We have enrollment for Virtual Enterprise. If you guys are juniors turning into seniors, the deadline is tomorrow for these applications. The application takes about 20 minutes, okay? If you're interested in taking Virtual Enterprise as a senior, I need these submissions by tomorrow midnight, if you guys are interested. If you're a sophomore, you can still, not through here, but just you can have your counselors put you into the entrepreneurship 11th grade class. If you're sophomores and you're not already in the sequence, you can tell them I said it's all right if there's space. If you're a freshman, there is a 3-year sequence called Virtual Enterprise. You can start it as a sophomore. But this application is only for juniors. So for juniors interested, this is the application. You're more than welcome to fill it out if you're interested in taking Virtual Enterprise as a senior. But that's got to be done by tomorrow night. Okay? If there's no questions, Greg and Taylor, you guys can work on your resumes. Madeline, anybody else, you guys can work on your resumes. And then, find me next year, and then we'll critique them for you. All right? You guys have a wonderful day.